say, I'm not the smartest person, but no one's gonna outwork me. I just grind, right? Every day it's like, okay, what do I need to do today to make it happen for my family? I really, really love this business. Like I get up every day super freaking pumped to go to work, and that's weird. You really get to help people. Again, I view myself as, hey, I want to be that lifeline to somebody that wasn't there for me.
Welcome to the Secret Life of CEO. So I have with us today Dean Iacovetti with VANTA Partners. I said that super fast. So hopefully you're paying attention. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And I feel like I have the extra benefit of mentioning you're one of the staple Hangr members here. So it was nice to just peek absolutely. Over the wall and be like, you ready?
I will tell you the Hangr's been pretty awesome. So
well,
we're pushing the brand and pushing the space, and it's really been awesome for our team. So
yeah, I mean, we love having you guys here. It's nice to have the additional energy, and I'm glad that we can help you guys with your snack intake.
Yes. We are quite the snackers here. So thank you very much. Do you often find yourself replacing the snacks just because of our team?
I was like, oh, VANTA was here today.
Is it just because of our team, or is it mainly because of me?
Well, I don't know who it is necessarily.
We're in the snack bowl quite often. So
they were hungry today.
We got to keep our energy up. We're on the phone a lot. We're talking a lot. So
yes. Well,
thank you for the snacks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm sure you've gotten a little bit of a feel for why we do this show.
Yeah.
And, part of the reason, especially for those of you just tuning in, is we want to showcase Hangr is the melting pot of resources, right? Mm-hmm. And this show's purpose is to essentially show that you have entrepreneurs out there who are, rocking it, killing it, but it might look like that in the front, but we know there's a lot more to that story, right?
It's not all a highlight reel.
It isn't. And being able to break that down for people who are trying to either go down that path or maybe are on that path and are just like, oh my God, how do these people do this, or how do they balance, the family life, or which I think balance is the wrong word, but trying to figure out how do you fit it all in? So I always like to start with those of you who don't know, the almighty Dean Iacovetti, oh, well, that's too bad. But, let's start with get to know you. Exactly. So tell us a little bit about your backstory. How did you get here today?
The capital region, or to the
Hangr? Where did you
want me to go way back?
Reader's Digest version of, so maybe a little bit of your entrepreneurial journey,
sure.
How you got into owning your own business. Did it start at an early age?
No, zero. That spirit? I often call myself a non-entrepreneur because I never wanted to own my own business.
Okay.
So I'll take you way back to growing up on Long Island, super blue collar. My dad was a baggage handler for Northwest Airlines. He would pack the planes with the luggage. And my mom was an aide in our high school, actually.
Okay.
I have an older brother, Perry. It was him and I growing up. Again, very blue collar. My parents always pushed school. The more you go to school, the better you'll do in life, right?
Right.
Parents always want better for their kids, typically, right?
Right.
So my brother was going to NYU to become an orthodontist. I didn't want to be the black sheep of the family. I was going to Towson at the time for my undergrad for marketing. It was the only school I got into. And I was like, what the frick am I going to do? Where am I going, right? So my dad, who's a big influence in my life still to this day, he's like, hey, you love to talk, you love to argue, why don't you go to law school? All right, great. So I'm down in Baltimore. I go to University of Baltimore Law. I graduated a year ahead of schedule. From the first week of law school, I hated it. It just wasn't for me. And I knew it wasn't for me. But you grow up in that old school, blue collar mentality. You finish what you start, right? If you start it, you finish it. So ended up graduating a year ahead of schedule. Got a master's degree, a law degree, and I clerked for a judge, I clerked for a lawyer, I did all this stuff in the legal world, and I just didn't love it. And I had a buddy at the time, his name's Jeff Martin. He was my college roommate, and my roommate through law school as well. He started working for a mortgage company, and he would come home and put $20,000 checks on the table, right, on the coffee table. And I'm like, dude, what the frick are you doing? I'm making... I think it was $10 an hour with a law degree, clerking or what have you. And he's making $20,000 a month. And he's like, I'm just, a loan officer. I'm making a lot of money doing this. And this was in 2004 when there was a real refi boom at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and interviewed at the company that he was at called New Day Financial. And instead of becoming a loan officer, they put me in recruiting.
Interesting.
And I was like, all right,
You're like,
let's
sure.
freaking try it. Yeah, let's have a go at it. So I did recruiting in a quick amount of time there. I became the #1 recruiter. I became the VP of organizational development. Just kind of rose up through the ranks at New Day. And then to move up here, I met my wife, Rebecca, who's still my wife now. And we have 3 children. At the time, we were going to have our first. And her family's from a small town south of Syracuse called Cortland. My family, again, is downstate.
Right.
So this Clifton Park area was kind of equidistant between both of our families. So we moved up here, and I opened up the permanent placement division of a consulting company. They didn't do any perm placement at the time. I brought us from 0 to $1 million in fee in my first few months there. Did very well. Fast forward a bit, in 2012, Apprenda became a client of mine. Apprenda was a software as a service company, and Sinclair Schuler, Abe Sultan, Rakesh Malhotra, 3 of my best buddies still today, brought me on board in 2013 to be their VP of HR and recruiting.
Okay.
I think there were 27 people there at the time. I helped bring us to 150. And in 2017, Sinclair, who's still my best bud, came to me and he's like, hey, we're going to exit or get acquired soon. Your role will eventually be redundant. So start to frickin' look for something for yourself, right? I don't want you to be caught blindsided. So I went on and looked for opportunities. I went online and looked for opportunities like what's the next step, right?
Yeah.
I'm VP of HR and recruiting for, at the time, let's say 150 person company. Do I go director for a larger company? What do I do next? And I found an awesome local opportunity at, let's say at the time it was 1,000 people, and it was for a director. So it was a lower ranking opportunity or a lower ranking position, but it was a bigger company. So it kind of evened out that way. I had 3 friends who actually worked at that particular company. I gave them my resume. They hand walked my resume into the VP of HR, and I never heard anything.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Hey, I got your resume. I'll get back to you. Hey, your resume sucks. I didn't get anything. And I'm like, wow, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, who's my life raft, right? Who's my life ring? There's nobody out there. I'm floundering. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I think we had 2 or 3 kids at the time, Becca and I, and I'm like, this is a terrible feeling. So
the unknown, right?
They took the human out of human resources. So I'm like, gosh. So with a little encouragement from Becca and Sinclair, I hung the shingle for VANTA in late 17, early 18, and it instantly took off, which I'm extremely thankful for. I had instant clients, instant candidates. It doesn't happen like that. I'm very, very lucky. But
you had the legwork done,
I
right?
did.
Like you had
Through Apprenda, yeah, I had a lot of that.
You had the reputation. It's not like you just came out of the woodwork. You're like, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully, at the time, I had a positive reputation. And it's continued that way, but yeah, it was just instantly awesome, like right away. And I'm like, holy shit, this is great.
Yeah.
And then I worked really, really hard as usual. And I found myself more and more clients. And then I was like, holy crap, it's just me. Like I'm the only person doing the recruiting. And I ran out of like time during the day trying, you mentioned before, how do you fit it all in? How do you balance everything? Right. And I was like, I need somebody else within VANTA to help me recruit. And that's how I found Ryan, and I could go into all that stuff, but I think this was the quick version, which was probably 5 minutes for now, of how I started VANTA.
Yeah, the catalyst
what's come about
of kind of how that happened. Yeah,
exactly. So truth be told, my back was against the wall. Like I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah, and you chose to work for yourself.
Yeah, let me try it, and here I am.
Yeah, here you are, 6 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
Still going at it, pretty strong.
We are trying, yeah. So I often say, I'm not the smartest person, but no one's going to outwork me. I just brute force is how I get a lot of this stuff done, and I'm going to make more calls, right? I'm not busy. I'm going to make more calls. I'm going to send more emails. I'm going to do more to create those opportunities to have what we call the washback and get more job orders or more candidates or what have you.
Right. So from the point that you filed your paperwork, right, to now, like, how did you feel at that point, right? Your back was against the wall and you're like, clock is ticking. Yeah. I got to do something. How did you feel at that point taking that risk?
Scary. It's definitely scary, But what do you do, right? Like, I'm raised in that like old school mentality. You're the man. You have to provide. You have to, be the breadwinner, right? So, I went out and I just grind, right? Every day, it's like, okay, what do I need to do today to make it happen for my family?
Right.
I have 14-year-old Luca, 12-year-old Lily, 6-year-old London, wife Becca. Like, I want them to be really proud of me every day, where they're like, that's my husband, or that's my dad. Like, that's how I want to be. So that's what I get up every day and I try to, make happen. It's like, I want to make them proud. How do I do that today?
That's such an interesting like perspective, like, and motivation too.
Yeah.
Clearly that's what drove you to build,
now
Dean's empire.
Not empire, right? We're 6 people deep, easy. We're not, there's no empire yet.
That's still something.
It's good. So, again, going back to quickly running into that issue where you had too many clients and not enough time or not enough me. It's almost like that Jerry Maguire scenario, right? Do I spend more time with the existing clients that I have, or do I expand and grow and what have you? So I was like, who the heck do I know around here that I trust, that I think's a really good recruiter, that I think would, be a real good professional to work with at VANTA? And Ryan Burke, I just kept coming back to his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good story of how I actually did the recruiting to get the recruiter, right? So I called Ryan, and I was, maybe 6 months into VANTA, and he was an account manager for a monster tech systems. And I was like, hey, Ryan, I started my own thing, super excited about it, ready to pitch him. And he's like, no offense, man, but I'm not going from a multi-billion-dollar company to your shitty little one-man agency. And I was like, no, I get it, and he just kept putting me off. And I finally just, through text, emails, calls, whatever I did to get him to meet with me, we had a coffee. And 2 weeks later, he's like, yeah, man. So I recruited Ryan truly at how a recruiter should recruit.
Right.
So I thought that was a good story.
Super tenacious.
Yeah.
To get him in. That's really funny. How do you feel about things now? So, and where do you see things going in like the next 5-10 years?
Great question. Actually, again, talk about Ryan. When we sat down, he's like, hey, you're doing well now. Where do you see yourself? I don't know where I see myself in 5 minutes. I can't tell you where I'm going to be. Exactly. I have no freaking clue where I'm going to be in 5 years. I don't know where VANTA is going to be in 5 years. I don't have the vision set out for where we should be in 5 years. I just go every day and I say, what do I need to do better today than I did yesterday? How am I going to be better? How do I get more people? How do I make more calls? So I'm more of the, I guess you call it, right, tactical. I'm more tactical. What are we doing now? Mm-hmm. And Ryan and the rest of the team, actually, they bring a lot of that, I guess, strategy piece. Mm-hmm. So they kind of ground me, and they're like, okay, here's kind of where we should be going. Should we be growing more people? Should we get more account managers? Should we get more recruiters? So in 5 years, I hope this thing's still cranking. I hope we're bigger. I hope we're still, doing great stuff. But if not, going through this, it's like, bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Like now, I believe in myself. Like, we were able to do this.
Yeah.
Phenomenal support system at home with my wife, Becca, and the kids, and just going through this stuff where it's like, all right, fuck it. I'll bet on myself again. Like, let's do this,
That's awesome though. And I think it's great that you have
it's scary.
Oh, sure.
But I'm going to bet on myself.
Right. And I think it's great that you have the support, right? And I think that's something that has come up many, many times every time I do these interviews.
Yeah.
And regardless if you're going at it by yourself, you still need a support network behind you of people who can do things better than you in other areas that you're not skilled at.
Yeah. And again, I'm not skilled in a lot of areas, right? Like, I don't do my accounting and finance. My wife does, right? She's our accountant. There's things that our team is phenomenal at, where I've been doing this for 18 years and I'm still learning. Right. They're maybe 5 years into their recruiting careers and they're teaching me stuff. So I think just, getting humbled every day by that and just kind of being in the, in the trenches with them, trying to figure it out is really awesome.
What would you say for somebody that's interested in owning their own business, whether it's not by force, I think that's the wrong word, but like you're put into a situation where like your job is being eliminated or something happened? What advice would you give to them?
I was actually given this advice when I first started, and this hit home with me for being more of that tactical driven person, like you can't measure your business day by day.
Yeah.
You have to do it like 6 months, a year. Give it some time, right? So the advice is just bust your butt every single day, but you can't measure it every single day, right? Give it a little bit of time. And then try to keep, and this is tough for me because I wasn't too data driven, but now I'm more data driven and metrics driven. Look back over time and see what you've done, right? So in January of 2018, how does that compare to January now of 23? What's different?
Right.
Why did we have less sales then? Why do we have more sales now? Is it more people? Did we do something differently? Did we run a different marketing campaign? So track those data points and that metrics to be able to figure out what you can do to replicate to be at the top of your game again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think consistency is important there too.
Yeah. I'm consistently annoying. So, I
mean, that's a good,
it's recruiting, right?
That's recruiting.
The number one thing you need to do is follow up, right? And I do constant follow up, and I know it's annoying, but hey, that's my business.
Right.
That's how I put food on the table. And truth be told, like 7, maybe 8 out of my 10 clients or candidates appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I wouldn't have thought of you if you didn't annoy me every 6 weeks or every whatever it is.
Well, everyone has the capacity of a toddler. So.
I try to, just stay at the forefront of people's minds without being like rude, right? Or it's like this freaking guy again. It's like, okay, I'm kind of funny. I kind of got a little personality. Let me just, annoying recruiter ping. Like I know it's annoying, but I'm just funny about it, right? I try to bring it to, in an email. I try to email the way that I talk, right? The way that I would speak with someone. Mm-hmm. So that's how we do it.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I kind of touched on this a little bit at the beginning of the conversation, the unknown factor.
Yep.
And it's always an interesting perspective to hear how a business owner deals with that. So obviously how you started dealing with the unknown is maybe a little bit different than how you deal with it now. But does that unknown at this point in having that experience of being a business owner, does that bother you? Do you to
a point?
Does it fuel you? What do you do about it?
The unknown, right? The unknown of what? There's a lot of unknown stuff out there, right? So if we're talking about recruiting as a business or recruiting as an industry, it scares you a little bit, but I really, really love this business. Like I get up every day super freaking pumped to go to work, and that's weird. I think I posted on LinkedIn a couple months ago, it was like Monday is like Sunday night is my Christmas Eve. It's like, all right, I'm getting ready to go to work the next day, which is weird, right? It's work. But for me, it's exciting. You really get to help people. Again, I view myself as, hey, I want to be that lifeline to somebody that wasn't there for me, right? When I was kind of, again, we use the analogy of drowning or whatever.
Right.
Like I want to be that person that they'll call and say, hey, dude, everything's effed up this week. What do I do? Like, I want to help you. I can't always place you immediately, but at least I can talk, right? At least I can be that ear or that shoulder to lean on at the time. And hopefully that goes a long way for people. I don't know what the hell your original question was, but that's where I went with it.
The unknown factor. No.
Because
it's different for everybody. And I think every industry has those different unknown factors. But I think, the consistency factor of business owners is the tenacity, right? I am not letting the wrenches that get thrown my way that we don't have control over take over my life.
Yeah, figure it out.
Everyone deals with those things very, very differently.
Figure it out.
And I think it's good to note too that it's still scary.
Yeah.
Right? And just because you've been in business for a long time, even if you have been in business an entire 18 years for yourself, it still bothers you.
Yeah, no, right? It does, right? So again, super lucky. Every year we've done better than the previous year at VANTA, and this is going into our 6th year. How are we going to be better this year? Yeah. 20,000 layoffs by Amazon, 11,000 layoffs by this company, and we're in the tech sector mainly. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, we got to freaking buckle down now. Yeah, we got to really, put our BD hats on, our biz dev hats, and figure out how we're going to get more business in to be able to place the great candidates that we have. Right. So the unknown is always there, but the way that we are is just not work harder, but do more. Right. Yeah. I always say the number of the number of calls you get back or the number of emails you get back is a direct correlation to the ones that you've sent, right? If I send 1,000 and you're looking at a 10% return, great. If I send 4 and you're looking at a 10% return, that's pretty shitty, right? So, you get out of it what you put into it is a real good way to look at recruiting.
Yeah, I think that's good advice overall for someone who owns a business.
I'm here to give good advice.
I mean, that's why we're here, obviously. So tell me about, obviously the entrepreneur thing wasn't a typical trait for you.
No, I loved being a spoke in the wheel, right? So go back to Apprenda. They're like, hey, we're growing this thing. You need 2 hires a month. It automatically in my head, I always go, okay, I got to go to 4. Right? I double whatever that goal somebody gave me was. And I always either hit it or fall a little bit short, but I'm ahead of what they originally set out was that goal.
Right.
So I love being that cog in the machine, spoke in the wheel, whatever you call it.
So do you have, now that you've been kind of, owning your own business for the amount of time that you have you had any interest in exploring other options?
Like helping out other businesses or starting a new business.
So it could be a new business. It's always interesting because some entrepreneurs have their hands in a couple different things, right? And it may not even be necessarily related, but has that kind of sparked any additional interest?
Yeah. So, again, I look at always trying to help, right? So I have friends that are like, in this day and age, they're like, okay, I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 20 or 30 years. I'm over it. I want to do something else. So they come to me as a recruiter and I'm like, okay, let me see how I can help you. What skills do you have that you're using in your current role and in your current industry? Can we bring it elsewhere, right? What else can we do with it? So I like looking at different things and kind of trying to solve that puzzle. But as far as like opening up another business I don't really have time to do something like that. I may, who knows, right? Again, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 minutes, let alone, 5 years, but it's really whatever the boss, my wife, whatever she allows me to do and whatever she wants to do, we're going to go make happen.
So if she's like, hey, we're going to start doing this now, you're like, okay.
Yeah. She's like, we're getting chickens now all of a sudden because eggs are so expensive. And we just moved to a house with a little bit of land. So now we have to have chickens. And that's the new kick at the Iacovetti household.
Well, hopefully that works out.
Yes, I hope so as well. So we'll have lots of eggs coming into the
oh my god, thank you.
Hangr.
That'd be great.
Exactly.
I expect a dozen a week, please.
Yes, absolutely.
So to kind of wrap things up a little bit.
Yep. Are we done? That's it?
No. I mean, go on forever.
We're wrapping it up.
But yeah. What I always like this question. What type of legacy do you want to leave?
None.
None?
Legacy, I just want. I said this the other day. I live my life like I'm on What Would You Do? You ever see the show with John Quinones? And he's gonna freaking come out of the background and be like, "Why did you act that way?" And it's like, that's the way that I am, right?
Yeah.
So the legacy that I want to leave is just for my family to be proud, and just be like, okay, I sleep super easy at night because I do the right thing. Like I don't have to look over my shoulder and worry about shit.
Yeah.
I do the right thing in my life and business and whatever I'm doing. And the legacy, I don't want a legacy. I just want my kids to be like, yeah, that guy was freaking awesome. And I want to.
That's a legacy?
Yeah. If you call that a legacy, great.
Best foot forward.
Yeah.
At all times.
Be a good person. I always say you put good out, you should get good back. It might not be today or tomorrow.
But eventually.
Yeah. But if you put shitty out, shitty's coming back for you.
Yes.
That's the way we live.
That's accurate.
Yes, very.
So this has been awesome. I'm so glad
Same.
that you were able to come onto the show.
Yeah.
I always I want to circle back with everybody in the next year to kind of see okay, where's business trending? Where are things going?
Yes.
Where are you guys headed?
Hopefully we'll still be here.
Hopefully you'll still be here. Yep. Just to see what's changed. What are you guys adding on now? You have a massive chicken farm. Who knows? What that might look like.
Chicken farm, exactly.
Who knows? So thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
You bet. Thank you.